Hello, welcome back, everybody. It's the new year, and it's been 2 weeks, and it's been far too long. It's been more than 2 weeks. Ladies, how are we doing?
Hooray!
Yay! We missed you.
I missed you. It's nice to see all your faces.
It is. And it's
And
good
your
to see all the
letters
foldies
in chat. Yeah.
Yeah, and your letters. And your emojis.
We saw the stabby stabs, and Bain&Chiad is apparently extra spicy.
It's been a whole year since I've seen you guys.
Yeah.
So spicy.
Spicy.
Nice.
I love people missing us, and seeing everybody in chat. This is wonderful. It's great. So, how was everyone's New Year? Did we get wasted?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, there we go. I wondered if anyone was going to see that.
Well
it took
played.
me a minute.
Nice Tam joke.
Leave it to the wise one to pick up on the Wetlander joke.
That was real quick on the uptake, wise one.
Yeah. I'm very proud of our wise one right there. She's kept it running.
That's it for tonight. Don't expect anything else, guys.
Oh, wait. This is the wise one show. So
I've used it all up.
Oh,
Wait.
shit. We have to come up with another plan then.
Yep.
We
My
wasted
advice
her.
is go to Reddit.
oh my god. No, don't go to Reddit. Don't go to Reddit, folks.
No.
So I got that one from someone posted in my Discord server in the Tam joke section. So I I was like, I want to use that at some point. It's also going to be a joke. But yeah, no, it's been 2 weeks. We're back at our regular Thursday slots.
It feels right.
Yes,
It
it feels
Now
much
that
better.
the Amazon folks haven't taken our spot.
Ugh.
Rude.
I mean,
I mean,
it was so
so
nice of
rude.
them to keep it warm for us.
Yes. Yeah, they did. They kept it warm for us. They kept it cozy. And
They gave people something to do while we weren't there. I mean, it's really nice. Really generous.
it is very, very generous. Thank you, Tweeter of Chaos. Thank you, Rafe, and everyone at Amazon. We appreciate you keeping the spot warm for us because, we wanted to try something different for 6 weeks, and you had our back. So thank you so much.
was a learning
yeah.
experience.
It was. And folks, if you didn't catch our last episode where we had some, speaking of Amazon, where we had some issues displaying some of the episode 7 cold open, you can now definitely go and view that quite clearly and safely. I had words with their wise ones, and they saw the error of their ways and said, no, you can show that. So you can go back and check that out, folks, and enjoy our reactions and stabby breakdowns. You'll still see us go around and be like, oh, are we not live anymore? But that's just part of the fun. So
Ramen rattle for Rob going toe to toe.
Thank you. Spicy ramen rattle. I love this. That needs to be a thing. So, okay. Well, talking about Amazon and stabs and things like that, shall we have a little chat about episode 8? Because we haven't done that yet.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what that means, folks. It's time for the Daily Veil. Spear brothers and sisters, it is time to cover up your face, for the wheel of time has news, and we shall dance the spears route. This is the Daily Veil. Right, so season 1 is done. How are we feeling about that? That's my first question, everybody.
I'm sad it's over. I want more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely want a lot more. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 10
Like
more
enough.
seasons worth of more, probably.
Let's do
And about 4 more episodes.
14.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a few more episodes every season as well would be great. They can just keep like adding an extra one every season. So when we get to like season 8, there's like 16 episodes or something. That would be great. I think that would
It's
be
like
great.
That
like the books expanding a little bit by a little bit every book. It would,
I agree.
it would be a good homage.
Continuously. It's not like they need breaks or anything in between production sets, or
No.
they don't need
No.
vacations. We Aiel don't do that.
Nope.
So
What is this paid time off nonsense? What's that?
vacation.
Silvertooth, hello. Can't stay, but wanted to say hi.
Oh,
Chief Folden
Hi,
checking in, folks.
Silvertooth.
So good to see you. Okay, does anybody want to go first on their thoughts? Bain&Chiad, since you're next to me on the screen, do you want to go first? What you thought of episode 8?
oh man, that's a lot of pressure, but I'll do it.
Maybe
I can
tell
rise
me
to the occasion.
One thing you loved about episode 8. How about we'll start there?
One thing I loved, well, my favorite part was everything Moraine and Rand. I really love what they did with the confrontation at the end, and how it had echoes of Memory of Light. And I thought it was just really interesting and creative the way they had it all play out, having him be in the dream world and having her hold the knife to his neck. I was like on the edge of my seat, and I thought it was awesome.
I agree. I did like that. That was, as you say, it echoed the last book really well. So that was something I picked up watching it, and I was like, wow, are they setting up for the end of it already? Even though we're getting, hopefully a lot of seasons in between. So moving around, I'm just going to go around in a circle. So Roof Mistress, you go last, just to comfort it easy for you there. Wise One Shelly, tell me something you liked about episode 8.
I think this is not going to shock anyone, but yeah, I really liked Lan and Nynaeve's relationship, and just, it was kind of nice seeing some of my favorite lines from the book. That wasn't in this episode, unfortunately. It was Abs in the previous episode.
It was implied. It was implied.
Yeah, it was implied. But yeah, I mean, it was really kind of a nice call up to the fans to have those like beautiful lines. In my critique, I kind of said, I think it needs to be longer because it did feel like they came out of nowhere. Just not fitting with what we know thus far about wisdoms in this type of story and not marrying. But I mean, I just thought that was really sweet. I love that Nynaeve got to teach Lan how to track Moraine and her tell. So that was kind of lovely. Yeah, so I really liked that. And I think, I love Faldara and the Shinarans. And so, even the little bit we got of Uno just made me very happy. So I think that's my my love out of that episode.
There was some good flaming swearing from Uno, and I always appreciate it. And as Matt Dagger is quite correct in saying, we don't need the reason for Butt
Well, it was Abrock in the last one, the season, or not season 7. Wish it was season 7, episode 7.
There will be an Abrock, folks. We're building a collection here as the episodes go on. So we've decided that ab rock is a thing. We're just finding the appropriate rock to go with ab rock. So that
I mean, tweet us if you guys have a rock that looks like Land's abs.
If you have an ab rock submission, we definitely want to see it because we've been looking through our desert espionage pictures and haven't like fallen in love with an ab rock yet.
And you know what? Maybe your clan is from somewhere different than our clan, and you just have a rock that's more representative of Land's ab rocks.
Mm-hmm. We're also, I mean, if you have better submissions for, say, pec rocks or shoulder rocks or calf rocks, we'll take those too.
Yes, all of the land rocks. Let's go for all of the land rocks.
I'm also a big fan of your diverse rock push, Roof Mistress. Like that's the way we should do it.
I feel like this.
I know you maidens don't partake very much in. Well, you do, but not quite as openly as I can. So I will happily openly partake in all of the rocks.
Okay. We're just really busy.
You are. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Stabbing stuff. It just takes a lot out of you.
Yeah. And sometimes you only have time for like a really quickie stab and just, and you just have to like go and quickie stab like all sorts of different people really fast.
You know what? If you ever, not saying you will, if you ever give with a spear, some of those long stabs are very much worthwhile.
Okay.
We have our first Melindhra, everybody.
Yes.
First Melindhra of the new year.
Cheers.
Nicely done. Ramen rattle for the Melindhra. There you go. So, Melindhra, what was your favorite part of episode 8?
Okay, so I want to say something different than my other two near sisters have said, because I completely agree with what they've said. But I also was just like really enamored with Min. We got such a brief glimpse of her, but I feel like she packed so much of that character into such a small amount of time. I loved the way that they did the visions. It was really cool to see like that juxtaposition of both, them like superimposed on top of itself, and then I love the twist with her attitude not being quite so bubbly, and what's the word, like manic pixie dream girl, like she's not quite fitting that mold. She's like more grounded, and you can tell that there's like a weight to her life and to the journey that she's had to go on, having the gifts that she does. And I thought I laughed my butt off when she like hopped on the back of the wagon and like wandered out of Faldar. I was like, she's the only one making the smart choice here. Everybody else is like, yeah, we're going to stay and protect the city as 10,000 Trollocs come after us. And she's just like, nope, bye, I'm out. I was a big fan.
Dana Lou, I do agree with you. I do love this version of men, and that's exactly what Mel's saying. Is loved her in the books and love her now.
The line where Moraine is just like, so tell me what you see, and she's like, well, the big broody one, like they're both big and they both brood. Like, just, I know that wasn't Min's line, that was Moraine's line, but just the look between the two of them in that moment was just like, yes, this is their interactions was just, I loved it. It was something I really, really enjoyed. So, Roof Mistress Leigh-A, what was your favorite part of episode 8?
So, again, I agree with all the scenes beforehand. I'm going to have to go with Uno, and I actually wrote down my favorite line of his is, and I'll never do it as good as Guy Roberts does, but I'll bloody skin them myself and burn their goat-kissing hides.
It's a good line. It's a very good line.
Perfect Uno line.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Guy Roberts, if you want to hop on and just deliver that for us, like, you can absolutely do that. Just
we'll give you entire quotes from the books of Uno that I'm sure, like, you just haven't been able to cuss enough yet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want that whole section where he's like trying not to cuss in front of Nynaeve. I want that so
I bet
much.
he's practicing that, to be honest, because that's such a key
And
Uno
you
moment.
know what? He can go up against our wise one, who's going to give him dirty looks the entire time.
Mhm.
Yes.
He's very, very. See, I wouldn't. This is why I don't say those bloody words.
Yep.
Yeah,
is why
they
we-
just don't
we get
sound
enough-
right coming out of my mouth.
Well, you know, we had enough sort of scowling from the wise one when, you know, all of this was happening. So, you know.
It was a specific word I scowled at, not the action.
What
I know.
word was it?
There's
Wise
no
one?
there's
What
no
word?
kink shaming here.
Was
There's
there
just
What word
word
was it?
shaming.
What was the word that you don't
I
like?
guess people will just
What?
have to go back and watch the video to know what to not say to me.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh,
To
You
be
know,
fair,
if Silvertooth was here, he would be like wrapping it into the chat a million
Oh
times.
yeah, he would be dropping it in, definitely. I love that you weren't
Silvertooth's
on
going to
the,
get a glare if he does that.
you weren't on the next episode, I think, that we did after that one, and we just kept dropping it in just during this, like, oh, why is One Shelly isn't here today? So we'll just keep saying the word.
Get it all out while I'm not here.
Yeah.
Oh, I've missed you all. This is great.
Rob, what was your favorite part of episode 8?
My favorite, I mean, there were a lot of good parts, but I was chatting about this when I did the watch party, and there it is. It's in chat. Nicely done. Bosh. Yeah, there
Matt
were two
Stagger,
moments.
we're going to have words. Not that word.
Not that word. We're gonna have words about a word. I really enjoyed the Thane exposition point. I have a lot of thoughts
Yeah.
about that scene in general, but just it felt he'd had so little throughout the entire show, even though he just kept appearing and whistling and things like that. And it was nice to have him with a little screen time where it was more than, you know, he was there to interact with someone else. You know, he was there, you know, to add a little bit for someone else. That scene was about him. And I really enjoyed the way that, you know, the actor delivered that. I forget his name. I'm terrible with the names. But it was such a great scene to watch. And I felt like he was enjoying delivering the exposition, you know, and that was really great. Yeah. So, and then the ending, I was also really enjoying the fact that Rand was like, I really want this sort of vision here that has been created, but that's not what Egwene would want. And that's more important. And I was like, that was just,
lovely.
yeah, a really, really good thing to put in there in that moment. And those are my favorite moments, I thought.
Can I also say something that we all did not mention? I think Aiel left it out because we thought it was obvious, but obviously all the Aiel in the episode were amazing.
as always.
As
Yes.
always. Yes.
It goes without saying.
Yep.
And Rob, you noticed all the Aiel, right?
I did. You know, I've tried not to rub it in all the other Wetlander faces, but I'm starting to see them now. So, you know, you kept saying like, well, you know, you're missing all these dozens of appearances, and you know, so it's good to finally be seeing them and being able to recognize that. And
You're starting to learn our ways.
I think he's earned some G, ladies. What do you think?
I'm balancing out not having ab rock ready. That's it, basically. So, you know, I have Toe for not having ab rock, and I've had some G for spotting the Aiel. So, you know, it's a balancing act, isn't it? It's a set of scales. So. I love chat where they're now talking about trying to rep for Silvertooth and things like this, by the way. This is hilarious.
Silvertooth's fine.
I
This
hope
is
he
great.
sees that later.
Yeah.
If Silvertooth wants to get on the wise one's bad side, that is his entire prerogative.
Can the head foldy get on the wrong side of a wise one?
I
Gotta
think
learn.
anyone can if they try hard enough.
Yeah, wise ones are indiscriminate, like givers of toe.
This is true. Thank you, Village Mattress, by the way. Johan Myers. There we go. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm terrible with names. So, and as Caroline is saying, by the way, Carolina's up very late, just like I am, because Caroline is here in the UK. So kudos to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Carolina.
I hope you're joining us from The Couch, by the way. If you don't know Carolina on The Couch, it's a new YouTube channel. Yeah, the swaggery flounce on the throne. Yes. It was,
Yeah.
it was really
It's
cool.
good.
Mhm.
That
Yes,
was
there
good.
were so
think
many
we need
moments.
to
I
add that.
literally have an entire page worth of notes on it.
On the throne or the episode?
Well, I'm not going into costuming, so it is the entire episode, not the costuming.
Wow.
But costumes.
What else you got?
Costumes
Yeah.
on the other side.
Oh my.
Give us the rest. Let's see.
No.
Maybe give us the Coles notes.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
give us a TLDR, is that it?
Yeah, TLDR.
Oh, really?
Okay.
All right. Blight is scary. Not a fan, unfortunately, Wise One Shelly. I love you. Of Nynaeve and Lane in the show. I am, but I'm not, because I love the way they did it in the books. So I'm still mixed. I'm waiting to see how it pans out. Still a fan of Ishi's face, and then he pulls off the mask, and that was, interesting. Is that a mask of mirrors? Was my question. Ishi being mean about Tam, that's just rude, and don't be mean about Tam.
He's jealous. It's jealousy.
Yeah, it's very well. And anyways, Egwene reading the wind over Nynaeve when they're overlooking the pass. So Eggy gets it over Nye. That's a first. Men foretelling Nynaeve burning out. Didn't catch that the first time. Second time, I was like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Uno, of course, which I said, all capital letters with 3 exclamation marks.
3, folks. 3.
Yeah. Inktar saying there are dark friends in Faldara. Funny story.
That wasn't Ingtar, that was Lord Yakota.
True.
Different person. Not
True.
Ingtar.
I got really confused.
He's
about
not
that, I've gotta
Ingtar
be honest.
anymore.
So, okay, so you know that story, right, Leah?
No, I don't. I thought it was Inktar.
So it was Ingtar, but the actor who plays him got a role in a different show for season 2. So they retcon changed his name to Lord Yakota, and there is actually a new Ingtar when Ingtar is actually introduced in season 2.
Well, then I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I retract my previous statement.
But I mean,
still think it's cool.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So the person who was supposed to be Inktar saying it's a dark friend is still super fucking ironic.
Yes.
Yes.
It's something that I noted because we're all Aiel women and we are all warriors. Is the women were the secondary line, and they were not any women in the primary line, and they held it down. So I really loved when Agelmar said, for the first time that we heard this line, "May the last embrace of the mother welcome you." Kind of gets right there a little bit.
Mhm.
Even for us Aiel, we might shed a tear, maybe sing a song for that.
Mhm.
The Rob, this one was for you. A note on the Malkier female channeler.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you could see her Kassan, which was red dot, which meant she was married. So that was, and then which I think was mentioned, Ishi giving the false image of Egwene, and then that being what Rand says, "Fuck you" to Ishi. And then the last one was foreshadowing of potential bad Matt from Pat and Fane. So those are my notes. Oh, and then there's one at the top. Moraine, she says, "This is not the last battle. I fear it is the first."
That's a good line, I say. I'm just going to do a shout out to chat right now for a second, because we have not Ingtar, but we have Outar.
I love it so much.
That's great.
I'm just so hurt by this. I loved him as Ingtar. I appreciate that they're adapting, but
yeah.
Oh, Rajesh.
That was great. That was a good Tam joke there. So yeah, there were a few bits in the.
I feel like it needed a rooster.
Yeah. I mean, all jokes need a rooster, really. So
Yeah.
Is there anything that people are like, do you know what, I really didn't like something that happened in the episode, and this is why?
I did not like Egwene healing Nynaeve. And the reason why is that Nynaeve really looked dead, first of all, and it's confusing. I think that it looks like she brought her back to life, and that's not really a thing that happens in the books, unless maybe they're changing it for the show. I don't know. And also, it seemed like such a small little weave, like to heal her, even if she wasn't dead. Like she needed a lot of healing, and it was just like basically Egwene crying, and then a tiny little weave, and then suddenly she's completely healed. And it seemed just kind of anticlimactic for what it was supposed to be, and not something that I believed Egwene could do at that point. So I didn't really like it. Although somebody on Twitter recently said something from the books about Egwene like figuring out things very quickly and being a fast learner. And I think there was even like a segment in the book where she figured something out, or healed something. So I mean, maybe it's within the realm of possibility, but it just bothered me.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on that as my
Go for it.
not favorite part? It was just my not favorite part was that the entire female channeling segment. I understand, especially reading all the articles that Rafe did afterwards, that he wanted to expand the story outside of just the Rand narrative. I got that, but it seemed to change a lot of the mechanics that we know of channeling from the books. Somebody with why am I blanking on her name right now? Agomar's sister,
Amalisa.
Amalisa, thank you so much. Should not know nor be able to, based off of book mechanics, again, little leap of faith. I understand show mechanics are going to be different, but that being said, it is a huge leap of faith out of what's from the books that somebody who couldn't even achieve the ring would be able to do either of those things, let alone draw enough from the books. Spoilers, would not be able to burn there was a buffering from the person who was channeling. So you wouldn't technically, according to the books, be able to burn people out that were in the circle with you. That being said, I do think there was interesting qualities in the variations of burning out. So if you go back to Liandrin in episode 4, when she's starting to flame up a little bit, and Moraine's just like warning her, you're going when Liandrin and Moraine are channeling against Logain, and Liandrin's so mad, and you start seeing those flames in her cheek. So you've started to see the level of implication. So there's an interesting lead up to that. I'm willing to roll with it a little bit, but just from the book mechanics, I'm a little miffed.
Yeah, I'm putting it down. I'm a little bit of faith and a little bit a case of, I think that because she didn't get full Aes Sedai training, she didn't link the correct way, I think is the way the show might be going with it. And if they do that, I can live with that. I think that's an okay change. To show the dangers of not being properly trained and then, manipulating the power without any of that training.
And Rob, I think what you just said is very important. Is there's a lot of things that coming out of episode 8 that I'm just like, I'm putting faith in episode 1, 2, 3, 4 of the next season that somehow this is going to get explained, and all of our criticisms are going to go out the window.
I love Beth's comment here. Sorry. People have mentioned that it'd be much more aligned with 90s character go and punch Amelisa in the face or the throat to stop her channeling.
Yeah.
Beth, you just won today. You just won today.
So, I mean, you could see the difference in the linking between the way that Amalisa linked everybody and the way that the Aes Sedai linked everyone, and how much control that was, and their like synchronized swimming movements, and versus everyone just being like tormented by the power. But at the same time, it does stretch belief a little bit that an untrained or a barely trained person could have that kind of effect on a whole bunch of other channelers, because that kind of ups the ante just in the lore of the show. It ups the ante for what untrained channelers can do, not just to themselves, but to other channelers around them, you know?
Well, this isn't just a wilder, this is a tower trained woman. So tower trained women, hypothetically, like if you were able to link, you probably should be able to make Aes Sedai. That being said, there were very powerful channelers in wilders in the real world outside White Tower.
Yeah.
It like be... wise ones, like our wise one Shelly is very powerful channeler.
Indeed. But the wise ones would never let something like that happen. That lack
of course
of
we would not.
They would never like let a channeler go free without being fully in control.
We don't have soft training like the White Tower.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There we go. This is the way.
What I think is interesting, a way that the show could deal with it is that potentially because of the amount of power that Egwene and Nynaeve had, like Amalisa couldn't handle it. And in those situations, what normally would have happened would be that the strongest channeler leads the link or something. But since Amalisa didn't know that that was going to happen, like that could be one of the dangers of linking incorrectly that, you know, people could learn later on down the line. Maybe that's one way they could deal with that.
It's very possible. Very possible. Okay. Anything anybody wants to add before we move on with the rest of the show?
The thing that I didn't really love. The thing I really am struggling with, and I really am curious how the show's gonna like unwrap that, is Loyal getting stabbed with the ruby dagger. I mean, if it were the books, he would have just like disappeared into a big fuzzy pile of things. And not that I have any issues with people getting stabbed with daggers. It's just specifically like, don't do that to Loyal. Don't stab my boo. Don't stab him.
Well, and maybe this is show canon. He's a mystical, magical creature, and he can overcome Shadar Logoth's poison.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like a bit of a cop-out. I don't know.
I have an idea. I won't dive into this. I teased it at the watch party, and I am going to do a video on it at some point very soon. But I don't think it actually happened. I think it was a dream.
So
you have to watch out my video to find out.
Interesting.
Like and subscribe to all of Rob's channels if you want to find out his theories on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it being a dream would help explain the situation, but I don't like the idea of it was all a dream being the season ending capper.
No, not all of it. Not all of it. Just the bit with Perrin and Padden thing.
Yeah, no. I get you. But even that part, because like the Horn of Valere, like all of that's very significant. And so if it was just a dream, like, I mean, are we going to get to see how it really happens? I'm sorry. I guess I'm going to have to listen to your episode, Rob. Or maybe I'm going to be on it and just be like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah,
you'd be in the comment section, be like, Rob, you have toe for saying this.
So much toe.
Mel, I'm sure you've liked and subscribed, but everybody else should also like and subscribe.
Yeah.
I have indeed. If you would like to become a patron and join me as a patron of Rob's channel and his podcast, please do, because he has quality content all the time.
Check out the links that I'm sure are totally attached to this.
They are, yes.
Because we plan ahead.
Yes.
So it is actually in the description, yes. Okay, right. Enough of that trying to like shove me down everyone.
Well, we have a new segment called Embarrass Rob as much as we can.
Yes, yeah, we started this at What a Holiday, and apparently it's continuing. So let's distract everybody now with some butt rock while I compose myself for the next thing we're doing. So it's not Daily Veil, but it is kind of like a little announcement thing. So we have some foldy shout outs today.
We do.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's there's a couple of name days floating around at the moment. So we here at Threefold Talk would like to say we want you to join us and rally your spears as we wish a glorious name day to our wonderful foldies, MK and Zool. I hope you've had wonderful days. Yes. So Zool was yesterday and MK is actually today. So congratulations. Another circuit of the sun, as they say.
And if you'd like your name day to be noticed, go to Rob's channel. He has an entire server dedicated to name days.
I do. So in my Discord server,
he really does.
Link in the description, folks. But yes, in my name day server, in my Discord server, there's a name day channel where you can go.
There's words that matter.
They're the words. And put in your date. You don't have to put the year if you're not comfortable saying the year. I just put 4 zeros. You could be as old as Chancellor, who was apparently born thousands of years ago, and she's just an AI at this stage and still celebrates her name day. And you can pop that in there, and I will add you into the list, or you can just join us as we celebrate name days for people that are on the list already. So you can, if you're on Discord, you can hop in and put the details there. And if you can't find it, just ask in the server, because one of the wonderful mods, some of which are here with me. Shelly is one of my wonderful mods in the server, and everyone will know where it is, so they can just send you in the right direction. But so a couple of name day shout outs there. What else do we have to do before? Should we do an Aiel day before we move on to the main segment of the show? Yes. Okay. Who wants to introduce this one?
Can I?
Of course, Shelly, of course.
Yeah, we had, I don't spend too much time on Twitter, though I do have an account, but this came to my attention. It's in the description, my Twitter thing. I don't know. Apparently you can do stuff with it. But I saw someone else who's better at Twitter than me. Beth Weston posted this tweet. I think, Rob, you have it. 11 years ago this month, I was officially melanoma-free after a year of treatments and surgeries. Here's to many more years. Happy New Year. Fuck cancer.
Yes.
Ramen rattle to Beth. We had a really nice conversation about Beth and I had the same type of cancer, and so it's really lovely to meet other people who've been through this, and I'm very happy Beth has made another loop around the sun and made it past us. So we really want to celebrate Beth being here, and we're starting to see her more and see her in the community and really, really enjoying her contributions. So congratulations, Beth, on making it as far as you have.
This is, And on top of that, that's a nice little segue, because next week, folks, we have a guest show. And that guest is going to be Beth. Beth joined us at What a Holiday. And so here we go. Chad is catching up. Damn that YouTube delay. So... but congratulations, you too, Shelly. Beth joined us at What a Holiday, and everyone who donated during Threefold Brunch was put into a draw to come be a guest, and the winner of that draw was Beth. So next week, folks, you can come and join us, and we will be making Beth fear the spear, and I'm sure she will survive.
I think she will thrive.
And there's a link in chat and how you can follow Shelly on the Twitter.
Do not expect much.
Follow her anyway. She's a wise one.
I feel like Shelly hops in like once a week, and then you get like 6 tweets or 6 interactions. Then it's like Shelly's gone again for a while. She's like that glorious.
The clan chiefs keep me really busy.
There we go. Yeah, she's like, you can have moments now, and then I'm gone again. You'll have to wait until I'm back around. So it's wonderful. Okay, those are the little bits. We've got a fun little thing at the end where a couple of the co-hosts have some things, some passions they're sharing with us. But let's move on to the main segment of the show, folks, and that is, of course, Ask a Wise One. This is the segment where you can send us your real world questions, and we can give you some wise one advice. There's not just the wise ones giving advice, all the maidens will be giving advice if they feel they have something appropriate to add. But we have 4 sections today. Yes, That is
Sure.
correct, John. Yeah. So we have 4 people seeking advice today. And we're going to start off with this first one here. So I just started a new job almost 2 months ago, and I noticed that one of my supervisors wears a lot of perfume. We have a no perfume policy at my work, and I am allergic to most perfumes. Hers hasn't actually bothered me yet, but what if she wears one in the future that does set off my allergies? Should I say something now or let it slide? And I'm going to go to you first, Shelley, obviously.
Okay. So first of all, pro tip about perfume. Makes it much easier. Aiel don't wear perfume. It makes it much easier for people to spot us, and that's part of how we hide. So
We just wear shoofy.
yeah, we just wear shoofy, and that's it.
Yes, I have the Shruthi video if you want me to play that later.
I think we have another ad, or did that not get done?
No. We have the other ad as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But
anyways,
Shufi's very perfect for this.
yeah, shoofy would be perfect for this.
Advise Shufi.
Yep. Advice is shoofy for the person wearing the perfume. But for you, I would say, protect yourself. You don't want to get to a place where you have a reaction. So I would have the conversation in advance. And I know that sometimes it's hard to do confrontation, but she knows the rules and you're protecting yourself. So one of the nice things when you have a conversation like this is you can be polite about it and just be like, hey, I've noticed you wear perfume. And unfortunately, I react to perfume. And if you want to make it personal, you can say, unfortunately, I react to perfume. So I'd appreciate it if you don't wear it. And if she reacts badly, you get the gift of letting her be awkward about that because you haven't asked anything unreasonable and you're within your workplace rules. You don't have to tell her that you react. You can, but you don't have to tell her that you're not reacting to this perfume. You can just say, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't wear perfume at work. And if she says, well, I need this or well, that, you can just be like, I'm sorry, it's a workplace policy. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't wear it. And let them sit in the awkward and you get to kind of just, you've said your piece. And then if it goes on beyond that, that's when you can do escalation, asking your manager, those sorts of things. But I think there's a very nice way to directly just say, please don't wear perfume in the office.
Yeah. And then send her to Shufi.
Mm-hmm.
And then send her to Shufi. And then to piggyback off of the wise one, if you don't feel comfortable in the confrontation, the wise one already gave you the next step that you can do is go to your roof mistress or your clan chief and ask them to, because that is literally their job, to in their own way enforce the rules that exist.
Andrew's trying out some advice in chat. First, try to be polite. Second, stabby stab.
I mean,
Yes.
As much as we're listening to asking for stone dog advice, that's not what we're asking for. This is the wise one segment.
Well, and the most G in battle is not from stabbing someone. So
That's right.
So I actually have a real life corollary to this question.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell you how I solved it. And I would love your advice on how I should have. So
oh dear.
So this is real life, not actual Melindhra. So real life story. So in one of my careers, I worked for an orchestra, and my job was to be like the person who was the artist liaison. So whenever we had like a famous star come in and play with the orchestra, like I was their person. And our orchestra also had a no perfume or cologne policy. And one of our guest artists came in, and he was wearing very, very strong, smelly cologne. Like you could smell it in the entire building every time he walked in. And so rightfully so, some of the orchestra members who had allergies like made mention of it. And so I, being the artist person, was tasked to go and, politely ask the artist not to wear it to rehearsals or the performance. And so I did, and I went into his dressing room and I was like, I just wanted to let you know we have this policy and blah, blah, blah. And his response was, but I'm not wearing any cologne. and I was like, I was floored because it was so strong. Like,
That's one hell of a
it
deodorant.
was insanely strong.
I mean,
And he's like,
pheromones,
I'm not
stuff
married.
like
I
that.
don't understand. I'm not wearing any cologne. I'm just wearing. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it's some weird soap at the hotel. I don't know. And so then he literally came back the next day, and he's like, I tried to not have as much on of whatever it was. I smell less cologne-y, right? And I was like, I mean, what do you say in that situation? I just lied. I was like, yes, yeah, I could tell you made an effort. It's no difference. Like, it was exactly the same. And those poor orchestra people who had allergies just had to like suffer. And I think actually some of them were just like, I'm just gonna like beg off and not play this concert because it's killing me. I am dying.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yep, that happened.
that's tricky. That's a stabbing. That one I'd stab.
Okay, so I should have stabbed him. Okay.
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
case, if he's lying and he's not listening, he has no G. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, there
But if
was
he's a Wetlander, he doesn't know, and there's always. Again,
he was from
unfortunately-
definitely a different part of the wetlands than where we lived at that point. But yeah, it was like, I don't know, maybe he had really early COVID,
Mhm. Maybe.
just
Possible.
like 20 years ago. I don't know.
Beth wants to know
Maybe
what
he's
instrument.
patient zero. Pianist. He was a pianist. Beth. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, of them all, I would say singers are still the most high maintenance. If that was the follow-up question to that.
Okay. Well, now
Anyway, real
stab
life
the
story.
pianist. Just don't
Mhm.
stab his hands, and then he can still play. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He
we
doesn't
go.
need his. I don't know. He needs his feet too. That's tricky.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, let's hit up our next question, and that question is: how do people with normal functioning brains handle feeling left out, or even suspecting that something is happening without you that people are intentionally not inviting you to? So, go, Leigh-A.
So, in spite of being the mistress, I am actually an introvert. I know I talk a lot on here, but first of all, there is no such thing as a normal functioning brain. So let's not confuse this. Everybody has their own special way of dealing with things. Even extroverts sometimes feel like if I'm assuming this is coming from an introvert, that's my assumption going in. That being said, one thing I do beforehand is write down a list of topics that I think are relative, and I put them in my phone. And then when I'm feeling uncomfortable or that I'm just not feeling like I'm up for the conversation, I'll quickly be like, oh, excuse me for this text. Ha, ha, ha. Go in and look at my list of questions. I've got a quick reference, and then I'm able to give some sort of talking point that opens somebody else up that I don't have to talk to. There's also other circumstances that I've been in. There's conventions I've been at where I thought that they were open, and that was I had a preconceived notion that they were open to people, and then I got there and they were cliquey. I just found the outliers. So even though people that I thought I'd be able to talk to, I found outliers I could talk to, and then I made my own group with those outliers. And we had a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So it's all circumstantial. So that is kind of a difficult question to answer. If you want to send in more specific questions later, I'm sure we'll be able to answer some of them, because there's please, of course.
I was going to say too, this is a really common thing to feel. Like I've felt this, and I'm an extrovert, and sometimes I do worry that people are hanging out without me. There's a website, I'm going to post the link in a little bit. It's called the Geek Social Fallacies. Those of us who grew up geeky and nerdy sometimes learn some behaviors around friendship that is a little difficult to unlearn as we get older. So I'll post that in the links once I'm done. But one of the social fallacies that everybody has to do everything together all the time. And as you get older, you start realizing that that's not okay. That's not okay, that's not true. So the reality is sometimes you aren't going to be invited to things, and it does hurt your feelings, and that's okay. It's okay for your feelings to be hurt. But you also have to think about it from the flip side, that you don't always want everyone around you too. And there's circumstance. So what I always do is interrogate the thought. So what'll happen is you don't get invited to a thing, and your brain is going to have a lot of thoughts. Some of them might be nobody likes me. Some of them might be I'm being excluded. And you can interrogate those thoughts. So you can say, what's the evidence for this thought, and what's the evidence against? And look at the context. So if your friends are meeting you in other circumstances and maybe not inviting you to this one event or to a party or something, you can say, my friends obviously don't dislike me, but for whatever reason, they didn't invite me to this party. And that's still allowed to hurt. You're still allowed to feel pain for that, but that doesn't necessarily say anything about you as a person. So I've had this happen. I'll tell you a story that happened to me. My really close friend, I was an orphan for Thanksgiving one year, and I didn't have anywhere to go. And my really close friend, I found out she was having a party for Thanksgiving. And I said, hey, I'm an orphan this Thanksgiving. Can I join your Thanksgiving dinner? And she said no. And, at first I was like super hurt. And then she was like, I'm really sorry. I only have 8 chairs, and I've already invited a bunch of people, and it's just going to be a lot of stress for me to try and find a place to put a 9th person. And, you have a couple dietary issues, and I don't know how to deal with those. And at first I was hurt, and I still get hurt a little bit because it's never easy to say no. But then we did a brunch, and I asked another friend, and I still ended up going somewhere for Thanksgiving. But, she drew a boundary. And even though it hurt me, I still respected that boundary, but her other behavior indicated to me that she still wanted to be friends. So it's looking at the context. And if you find you are being excluded and there are other behaviors that don't balance the exclusion, that's when you can start saying, is this a friendship I need to keep valuing?
And I think, riffing off of what Shelly just said, going back to a continual theme from the Wheel of Time, communication is important. Our characters would have not been in so many situations if they had communicated their issues.
Would have been like one book, wouldn't it? Just saying, so cool. Anything else to add from our maidens, perhaps? Or did you just stab these people that don't invite you to things?
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean,
you don't have to say yes or no to that question. We can just leave that one. You don't have
as a taking off my maiden hat for a moment. This is something that I struggle with for sure. As a person who was brought up to seek approval, as a person who's extreme extrovert, who is a person who was brought up as a woman in the world, and everybody's supposed to be nice to each other, and all of those things, all of that baggage that you carry. It is hard to face those things, and it's hard because as an adult you think that you're supposed to have gotten past that. You're not supposed to have those feelings anymore, and you're not supposed to feel hurt if you're excluded, but it still does hurt. It's still a challenge that you have to deal with. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that you feel that way, and it's also okay to articulate it in an appropriate context to try and understand, but not in a way that wouldn't necessarily make your friend feel guilty about it. If you think, like Shelly said, if you think there's a friendship that is balanced there, if there's potentially an unhealthy relationship happening, that's worth examining for sure, because I've had it happen and it be very clearly exclusionary. Mm-hmm. And
And that's hard. That's hard.
It's hard to deal with, for sure. And it's going to happen too. It's, you know, because we're humans and we are by nature people that love to be together. We are, you know, pack animals.
and we're humans, and the people around us, as are we, we're all fallible. So and again, we don't communicate clearly.
I think most of the time it's never really about you. It's usually about the other person and what the other person is concerned about. And it could be anything from a real triviality, or it could be something about them wanting to project a certain image. Like, there's a million things that other people are thinking about when they're planning events that don't center around every single one of their friends. And I have to remind myself of that often. It's not about me.
Knowing that, it doesn't make it any less hurtful. So, like, even if you acknowledge all of that, none of it makes it less hurtful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
sorry,
I'm seeing good discussion in the chat. Keep it up. Always feel free to disagree with us or offer other advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a wise one, but one thing I was thinking about as you all were sharing your thoughts was, in a situation where this does happen, because it will happen, of course, sounds like everybody can relate. It's helpful to have a really good relationship with yourself and to learn how to be alone with yourself. You know, if maybe that's part of the reason that this is hard, because obviously, you know, being around people is nice, and it's part of our nature. But I think it's also important to be friends with yourself. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but I really like being alone personally. But it's something I've had to kind of learn how to do. Like, I went to a movie by myself, like for the first time, only like maybe 3 years ago. And I actually ended up really enjoying it. So I think, you know, if you're able to do that, the more you're able to practice, like doing stuff on your own and getting to know yourself and what you want and what you like, then the stakes aren't as high when somebody does make you feel excluded. And then you can feel a little more self-assured and self-confident, and you might not care as much what other people think or do. So that's just my 2 cents as a maiden.
And that's a very great advice from a maiden, is you have, at some point, in spite of that intensity that we all desire as being human beings, as Mel said, sometimes you have to go out into the wilderness and build up that immunity, which takes time, takes a lot of practice. I mean, Bain&Chiad, it must have taken you a long time to get comfortable with that.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still definitely times where, you know, I have some of those thoughts like, oh, I'm alone. Like, you know, does anybody like me? Like, what are they talking about? You know, all that kind of stuff. But I think you just have to learn to, like Shelly said, interrogate those thoughts and bring yourself back to something you really enjoy that makes you feel good about yourself. You know, whether it's like exercising, going for a walk to clear your head, listening to music, talking about Wheel of Time, you know, things like that that bring you joy. You'll always have those things, even if you don't have other people. So, you know, the most important relationship in your life, in my opinion, is with yourself, because you'll always have yourself, no matter how things outside of you change throughout the course of your life, which they will.
Yes, 100%.
Lovely. There's some great advice there. We have one last question to be answered by my co-host here. I was like, where did that appear from? But I suddenly remembered that I gave Bain&Chiad permissions to do those sorts of things. I was like, how does this keep happening? I'm not hitting the buttons. Yeah. There we go.
There's a ghost hacking your StreamYard.
That is fine. That is absolutely fine. That is why you have the power. So, okay, folks. This one comes from our very own Zool. She sent this in very last minute to me.
Happy birthday!
But yes, happy name day again. and it is all about some winter motivation, folks. So I have such a hard time finding motivation to exercise in the winter when it's cold, wet, and dark. And Zul's asked, do you have any motivational words or ideas to help with that? So,
Do the maidens want to take this one?
Yeah, the maidens. I'm sure you have all the exercise tips here, surely.
I actually didn't read that. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
I'll put it back up. I have such a hard time finding motivation to exercise in the winter when it's cold, wet, and dark. Do you have any motivational words or ideas for me?
I
Can I
do
quickly give
actually,
shit to the Shido for not paying attention? The Shido thing to do.
I'm a Shido.
Just saying.
But we
Now you can answer.
well, luckily she was the only one to admit that she wasn't paying attention. So thanks for doing that for me, Mel, and having them repeat it because I also was not paying attention. So you just earned much G.
Yeah.
There we go.
Taking the fall there for me.
We're doing a wise one episode. I can just sit back and relax. You know, like that's not my segment. You know.
I actually have a really good excuse, though. I guess there's actually some people dancing the spears outside my home right now. And it's very loud and scary sounding. And my partner is calling the police. So it's a little scary. So that's why I was distracted. But I think everything's okay now. In any case, no one worry. It's okay. But yes, as far as the exercise, I really struggle with this too. In fact, in general, I hate exercising, and it takes a lot to get me to do it. I have to find something I really love. One thing I found was yoga, which I really enjoy, and you do that in a group and they kind of hold you accountable. But then with the pandemic, I kind of got out of that, and also the winter time I think is really hard. So I agree with Dana about that. So what I've been doing, I actually am trying to hold myself to walking at least 30 minutes a day every day, because I figure like that's an easy goal. Like, oh, it's only 30 minutes out of my day and it's just walking, like, and that's like the lowest stakes, lowest risk activity you can do, and you don't need money or anything other than like shoes to do it. So what I do in the winter time I've found is helpful is actually like going for a walk during my lunch break. So it's still light out, it might still be cold, but it helps to do it during the day, or at least doing like 15 minutes of it during lunch. And then I can do 15 minutes of it later. So it doesn't seem like such a big task. So that's my advice for Dana.
Cool. Does anyone else want to add some advice for exercising in the cold and dark?
I mean, I live in the Canadian part of the Waste, so this is a reality for me too. And I've been struggling with the same thing. So I've learned my own motivational habits. I think that was really tricky. So I'm a morning exerciser. If I don't do it in the morning, it's much harder to do it throughout the day. So I go for my walk first thing in the morning. And basically anything that will get me out the door, I will do. So I've started playing Pokemon Go. Or again, I used to play it more seriously, but playing it again because it just got me out the door. And it doesn't matter how dorky it is, it got me outside to go for my walk. If I want to, sometimes I'll have an album that I want to listen to. So I'll listen to a music album and I'll say I'm only allowed to listen to this music album that I really want to hear, but outside on my walk. Or a story, like I was going to say a book on tape because I am ancient.
We know what you mean. We know
exactly what you meant.
Yeah, I put a book on tape in my
wise and wise one.
We are not going to question the wise one's words.
Yeah. Yeah, I put one in my Walkman and I, put on my fanny pack and tease my bangs and go for a walk. Pretty much anything that gets me at the door.
I want to see a demonstration of you teasing your bangs.
Maybe in October around the 31st.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and then
write this down as an upcoming segment.
Yep, I'm making a note of that right now.
Yep. The other thing I do, especially in winter, is I have a very good travel mug, and I pack myself a hot tea. And I take a tea or a coffee on my walk with me, just because it's kind of nice to have something warm. And yeah, that's about it. Like it sucks. It really does. It's hard to get out. So I also go on the 5-minute rule. Going out for 5 minutes is better than going out for nothing.
Yep.
So.
Nice.
As a Far Dareis Mai, I would say that the thing that tends to motivate me the most to go out and exercise is having someone to either do it with or someone to help me stay accountable. So find yourself a challenge buddy, find someone in your life or someone in your online world, maybe in Discord or on Twitter, who also needs some help staying motivated so that you guys can motivate each other. Because for at least for me, like my spear sisters are the ones that keep me motivated to keep going and keep healthy and keep exercising and help remind myself to take care of my body so that I can stab with the best of them.
Nice.
Fun little. Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, we had a little bit of advice from Chad as well. Turn off technology, play some music, change into exercise clothing, and have an exercise plan is very important. And start slowly, 2 to 3 things a week, and build on your exercises. That's from Andrew there. That's
yeah.
Andrew.
In the summer, I do sometimes sleep in my sports clothes, so I can just go in the morning. I've done that before. And Roof Mistress Leigh-A and I have accountability buddied each other for early morning wake ups before. So.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
She
Tree got a dog apparently.
Get up very early on occasions. And actually, one thing on top of all the excellent advice, if it's just too cold and you just don't want to go outside, which happens because I do that too. I love going outside. I love going for runs. I love going for walks. Sometimes it's just like, nope, fuck that shit. So what helps me is in between tasks that I'm doing around the house, and I just mentally set them, whether it's a creative task or chores or whatever it is. I'm at a commercial break while I'm watching Hulu. Just do 30 seconds of exercises, and you can do great body weight. There's lots of ab work, plank, attempt to do push-ups, and you don't even have to do actual push-ups you can do against the wall. Push-ups are like scary for some people. There's ways to modify them excellently. I can post in Rob's Discord somewhere all sorts of modifications on exercises. But just
put it in the Aiel chat. There we go. There's
just put on some music and start dancing. So, because dancing does a lot of body movement and exercising. So I know Aiel only dance while we're dancing the spears, but you Wetlanders, you dance all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to dance at your whim.
I'm not going to say that I've done this, but if you go on YouTube, there are line dancing lessons on YouTube. And I'm not going to say I've done this because I don't want to put other images that are inaccurate in people's heads. But, you may or may not be able to learn the boot, scoot, and boogie line dance on YouTube. And that is a fun way to get moving.
And
so I've heard.
There's all sorts of exercise routines on YouTube. So whatever your jam is, yoga, body weight exercises. There's a whole bunch of free resources out there, just whatever your jam is. If you need walking motivation, YouTube has that. So free resource. Use it.
What I'm hearing from Shelly is that we need some extreme donation at the next charity threefold brunch to encourage a 80s boot scooting wise one.
Not enough money in the world, Rob. Nor is there enough alcohol.
Fair enough. Okay,
however,
folks, that is...
come to Toronto, we'll go line dancing. That would be fun.
There we go. Just go to Toronto, we'll line dancing. I love that. That's great. Okay, folks, that is it for the Ask a Wise One section. If you want to have your questions answered, just send them to us. You can DM us on Twitter at Threefold Talk. If you're in Discord, you prefer to do it there is a channel in my Discord server and you could put it in there. But obviously that will be public. If you DM us on Twitter, it can be private. So, you can have anonymity. I think I said that correctly. if you so wish. If it's a serious question and you want some serious advice, if it's a bit more lighthearted and you don't care that we know who you are, then you can absolutely just put it in the Discord server or anywhere else that's public like that. You can at us on Twitter and just tweet it out, sort of thing. But yeah, that's how to do that. Before we finish off with our noodle segment, we have we're getting political for a moment, aren't we, folks? We got approached.
Sorry.
And yeah, we're going to give you 60 seconds of politics. And
don't hang up yet. Don't hang up.
Don't hang up until you've listened to the whole thing.
Just hear us out. Yeah.
Yeah. Just hear us out. Okay. You'll enjoy this. I promise. I hope. Please. The following is a paid political announcement from the Cúlaidan for Cara Khan campaign.
Randall Thor. Who is this man? He wants to be the Cara Khan, but what do we really know about him? Randall Thor claims to be Aiel, but is a soft Wetlander who carries a sword. Randall Thor claims to know our history, but says we come from servants. Randall Thor doesn't want us to take the fifth from Wetlanders. Randall Thor has toe. Cúlaidan has never touched a sword and understands J-toe. Cúlaidan knows we are a proud race of noble warriors who have never served anyone. Cúlaidan, he has G. Randall Thor, he has toe.
Melindhra, seriously, with your political ads.
Sorry.
I don't know. I'm convinced.
Mhm.
I'm convinced. I'm going to vote for Cúlaidan.
I did it as a favor to the Shadow. We love Mel. I was like, well, we love Mel. The rest of the Shadow can't be that bad, can they? I'll give him a chance. And we've swayed Bain&Chiad, so
Yeah, I mean, it just takes one at a time, one step at a time down that long road towards coming over to the Shadow. That's what I want you to do. Yeah, join the Shadow. Mm-hmm.
And as correctly picked up by Data in chat, that is Kev, our friend from all the way in Australia, coordinated with Shelly to record that for us. And it was. It's been that one's been coming for a while, and I've been terrible at not getting it together. And I thought we need to have that one. We also have another sponsorship work in the ad in the works with this one's food related. So hopefully that one comes next week. But we'll see what we can sort for you folks. But
Well, we need to do Shufa based off of our perfume.
I don't know. Chat. Wait, there's a poll. There we go.
We haven't polled.
Maybe
It's
after
been an hour and 15 minutes and no
After
poll.
our next segment, maybe
I know,
if you guys
right?
want Shufa back.
Do you want the Shooty ad?
Shufi.
Yes, no. There we go, folks. There is your poll. Oh my God! How?
Oh,
did
I was
not
going to
do a
ask
poll?
if we should do a poll about who's voting for Cúlaidan now.
Oh yes, yes. So after this, we'll do a poll on whether I'll play the ad again so you can see it, and then see whether are we voting for Cúlaidan to be the Cara Khan? I couldn't think of his name there for a second.
So the Shadow
Clearly I'm voting no.
are the we have blood feuds, so I don't know if I want this ad aired again.
Oh, look at this round out toe. Nice one, Tree. Cúlaidan is right. That was awesome sauce. Hashtag not endorsed by All Shadow. Oh, Mel. Okay, folks. Well, while you're voting in that, we've got a new segment today. It's a very lighthearted thing. This is Shelly. This was your idea, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and then I'll play the intro.
Oh, well, as you all know, Aiel like to read a lot. Books are very valuable in the Waste, and we know because this is full spoilers. We know all of you have read Wheel of Time. So we wanted to talk about some books that we were reading around our fires at night and share them with you to maybe fill the Wheel of Time hole in your life.
There we go. Here's the intro for it. Is anyone going to attempt to say it? It's so cute, isn't it?
No, not attempting to say that.
I'm going to play it again. It's so cute. Little 5 seconds of joy for you folks.
Man. Okay,
I can't see it, but we think it means like reading post-rain arch or something like that, right?
No, it's colorful archway. Reading colorful archway.
Arch of
Where is it?
Colors?
We have to
Arch
thank
of
Pavara for
Colors.
this. Yes, which is reading Arch of Colors.
There we
That's
go.
what it means. Thank you, Pavara, for this. This is you
Thank you,
can find
Pavara.
Pavara
You are much needed.
giving old tongue lessons on TikTok.
Mhm.
So you can go check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for giving us that little translation there. Good night to Emma Howley, by the way, and Carolina on the couch. Hopefully Carolina went to bed rather than slept on the couch, and the couch didn't go with her. That would take up a lot of bed space, but we missed saying goodnight to Carolina earlier as well. So, but yes, we have 2 this week. Melindhra, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Tell us about it.
I have my book in front of me. The book I am recommending is Stuff Matters by Mark. Okay, I knew how to say this a minute ago. Miodovnik. There we go. Mark Miodovnik. So Mark Miodovnik is a professor at University College London, and he has a fascination with how all the things in the world are made. And so he wrote this book called Stuff Matters. And I know you think like this is not a thing that Melindhra would read, but I must read you the first sentence. One moment.
Okay. Wait. There we go. Go for it.
As I stood on a train, bleeding from what would later be classified as a 13-centimeter stab wound, I wondered what to do. This book is a journey into the way that Mark sees the world, but also he connects down to the anatomic and atomic level, like the way that the things that humans use are made. And it's really a fascinating and like energetic and exuberant exploration of all of the things that make up our world. And it includes a journey into how samurai swords are made, as well as chocolate and the history of chocolate, and all sorts of like really interesting products. And it was just a really enjoyable kind of like surface level deep dive into like how different things that we use every day are work and how they are made. Like even like concrete. Like I never knew that I would be so fascinated by concrete, but this book like made me like look at bridges in a completely different way. So I highly recommend it if you're interested in something non-fiction-y to support you today, and you could figure out why he's so obsessed with his stab wound, which was good.
I love how you tied it into stabbing as well. Very, very Melinda thing to do.
And
Melinda
samurai
concept,
swords.
And
It's
samurai
also
swords,
in
yeah.
there too.
I mean, I was trying to overlook the fact you were
for
interested in samurai swords, but
She didn't touch a sword. She just
She
learned how it was made.
I learned how they're
touche.
made.
Yes, touche.
Yeah.
This is why I'm the token Wetlander.
I think her recommendation deserves a ramen rattle.
Yes,
Thank you
I
very much.
agree.
It's really good.
it sounds.
But
like
don't
really good.
take my word for it.
Read the book.
Mhm.
Okay, our other book recommendation this week comes from One Shelly.
Okay. Sorry, I was like expecting something to flash on the screen, but that's okay.
Oh, you mean
I am. Thank you. I am recommending The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I have sisters, and like many people with sisters, we have a complicated but loving relationship. And this book is about sisters who also happen to be witches. And it is a beautiful book. Harrow is amazing at prose and creating a story. And I have to say, the characters are so fully fleshed out that you love them so much because they make bad decisions and you're like, oh, why are you making that bad decision? Which is a thing I have looked at my sisters and wanted to say to them, but couldn't, because you can't say that to your sisters. And they are basically, it's reset in kind of a New Salem. So they remade Salem during the women's emancipation period. So looking for the woman's right to vote in the US. And there are many comments on feminism and extremism and religious extremism and patriarchy and, you know, cults of personality that come through. But the thing I love about the book is that the women's flaws are also their greatest strengths. So Juniper is my favorite character. And what I love about Juniper is she is a rash hothead. And, you know, there are many flaws that come from being a rash hothead, but it's also the thing that, not to spoil it, makes her the best. And, you know, a lot of good things come from her being a rash hothead. So I love that these characters, their flaws are both good and bad, and they are very whole characters. There's queer representation, there's discussion of race relations in America, all in the context of women trying to rediscover witchcraft. It's a beautiful book, highly recommend it, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Brother has asked, are the book titles going to be put into the description of the video? Yes, I will add those in as part of the description. I won't link a place to go purchase them because there's so many places you can buy books. Some people want to buy them digitally, audibly, in physical books from a bookstore that they have in particular. So I will just put the titles and the authors under the title of this segment, which I won't try to butcher, and then you can what title to search for, and obviously the pictures have appeared on screen, so you know what the book looks like as well. So. Yeah.
And for Wise One Shelly, I think she also gets a ramen shake.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, folks.
I'm just shimmying.
Let us
please
tweet at us if you read those. We'd like to know if you enjoyed our recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you would like more, because we're all readers, so we have lots to say about books.
And we have lots of books. We only chose 2 for tonight.
Yeah. They'll be like, we might not do this every week, but every now and again we'll be like, hey, I've got a book I want to recommend, and we will we'll do this little fun segment with the rainbow, with the books, and, get that song stuck in your head. So.
I love it.
We just want to play the rainbow.
And tell Rob that you want a shirt of that graphic, by the way.
Yes.
Of this graphic?
I want to show that graphic.
I'm sure I could get a freeze frame of that looked really pretty. Yeah, I'm sure I absolutely could.
But it won't have the sound effect, and the sound effect is the best part.
I know. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to get like little bells attached to the t-shirt, so when you walk, you chime.
Yes, it needs bells.
We just
needs like a 4D component, doesn't it? Okay, folks. Shufi has been almost unanimously picked. 91% has been selected for the Shufi to play. And then after that, we're going to poll you on whether you would vote for Cooler Than or not, and then we'll tie up the show. So enjoy the Shufi ad that I think this is like the 3rd show we've played Shufi on. So in honor of the question earlier about perfume. Have you been feeling less than fresh? Is your cabin sort losing that classic scent of blood, sweat, and sand? Has rolling around and fighting in the flowers and grass made you smell more like a soft Wetlander and less like the dry and chalky piece of stone you truly are? The makers of Loom, the deodorant for your private parts, are here to tell you you don't have to live this way anymore. Introducing Shufi, the natural deodorant for your shufa. The next time you're feeling like a disgusting body of water, just apply a small amount of Shufi to your shufa and you'll feel like brand new. Like you never got stuck in the wetlands following the Karakan after the traumatic revelation that your pacifistic ancestors betrayed their oaths and your whole life is kind of a lie. Shufi uses ultra-absorbent technology to sop up the stench of the wetlands whilst leaving only the driest, most natural scents of the freefold land. Shufi comes in a variety of scents like blood splatter, sand, sweat tent, hot stone, leather, freshly washed spear, and tears of your enemies. Just listen to this testimonial from a maiden who uses Shufi.
I had to walk across a stream, and it was horrifying. My boots and pants smelled like water for days. I felt so ashamed, I asked the wise ones to help me meet my toe. Instead, they told me about Shufi. It only took a small amount of the poisonous desert monster scent to make me feel like myself again. Much G, Shufi.
Shufi, because the wetlands are gross. Now in ultra dry, which will have you feeling sandier than a stone dog's butt crack in no time. That was the first ad we ever made. It's so fun.
It's a classic.
It is.
It's so good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bain&Chiad, for writing that, and for Leigh-A for assisting me with the narration. It's great.
I totally forgot I was in that, by the way. I was just trying to like get the ad some revenue, and then I started listening to it. I was like, oh fuck, I'm in this.
Great. Okay, folks, I'm going to start the poll about whether you would vote for Couladin or not. And here's your 60-second refresher on whether you should pick him or not. The following is a paid political announcement from the Couladin for Khan campaign.
Randall Thor. Who is this man? He wants to be the Khan, but what do we really know about him? Randall Thor claims to be Aiel, but is a soft Wetlander who carries a sword. Randall Thor claims to know our history, but says we come from servants. Randall Thor doesn't want us to take the fifth from Wetlanders. Randall Thor has toe. Couladin has never touched a sword and understands J-toe. Couladin knows we are a proud race of noble warriors who have never served anyone. Couladin, he has G. Randall Thor, he has toe.
I missed that you put the Couladin quote there.
Yes. So as I was listening to it, a full disclosure from folks, I made the advert today because I procrastinated, shocking horror. And
Such a Wetlander thing to do.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I made it today, and I had the script in front of me that One Shelly had written, and I had the vocal parts from Kev, and I thought that there would be more that I had to narrate myself, and then there was just the one line missing, and I was like, but it's such a great line about like I'm going to increase from the fifth to taking a sixth, and I wanted it in. So in that gap of audio that was there, I stretched it a little bit, and I put that little icon there, folks, to say that if I get made the Khan, I will increase us having the fifth to having the sixth. And, it's
So
such
good.
it's such a great thing. So
Not gonna lie, between the two of you guys, I live in DC, Washington DC, political capital of the world. That was an excellently done political ad. You guys both might have futures.
I mean,
I don't have political connections, but I know people who have political connections. Just saying.
I may or may not, in non-Wise One World, be a lobbyist. So
I may or may not just be giving it a go and getting lucky.
Man.
but full disclosure,
Sometimes it's all it takes. All right, let's
I
get
wrote
past
that-
the world stuff.
I literally had to Google sixth is less than the fifth, right? Like, because my brain wouldn't do the math properly.
You're a statistician.
I know. I do statistics for a living, but I somehow managed to talk myself into like, wait, no, six is higher, but the fifth is like.
I think I was telling you.
Yeah, no,
earlier,
it's getting in chat. People like Dana saying like, yes, that's the point. Couladin is being that stupid. Dana,
Shadow are great at math.
Yeah,
We're really good.
Melindhra, stop getting in the wise one's head.
I'm curious. We've 20 votes, and there are 25 people watching, which means there's a few people who haven't voted, folks. It's. I'm going to give that out a second. Before we tie up for the evening, because we are pretty much bang on time right now, folks. Ladies, anything? It's been 2 weeks or over 2 weeks, and it is great to do this again. I've missed doing this. I've missed seeing all of you, and just all the things we do when we get together. But anything you want to add on today's episode, or just for the new year? This is episode 18 we've done now, I think. So we're getting in the real swing of it now.
No.
I actually do have something to add because I teased these on Twitter right before we started, but I wanted to share that I got these cool new bracers from my first brother.
Oh, wow.
They're super cool.
Oh my God, those are amazing.
Yeah, I love them so much. He gave them to me as a gift.
That is
Are
So
those
I'm
made
Shadow
from
can
the
be
skin
nice.
of Agara?
They're Gara skin.
yes.
I love it. It's badass.
Grace?
Love them.
Very, very
Yeah.
jealous right now.
I am
Yeah,
also
and
jealous.
my second mother gave me this shirt, so I've been gifted some new Cadence Soar, and I'm really digging it. So I thought I'd wear it today.
Nice. That's amazing. You did tease that on Twitter. I remember seeing that. So, all right, I'm going to
Yeah.
end the poll, and the poll states that there was some poll, but it ended up being 59% saying no.
So maybe
Sorry,
you guys
Coolidge.
don't quite have that future as
Yeah.
political consultants that you thought.
I mean, I think getting a 40% vote for Couladin is pretty good.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's closer than I thought.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
okay. Thank you so
so
much for
Rob,
joining us.
I'd like to re-mention, because I've only mentioned it like 3 times today. Subscribe. Also, we've got a lot of new segments potentially coming up, so stay tuned.
Yes, we're back every Thursday,
surprises.
9 p.m. Eastern, folks. We made the Wheel of Time move over again for us. We didn't like the Tuesdays. The Tuesdays were okay, but we wanted the Thursday nights back. So yeah, we were here every week, pretty much. I don't foresee any reason why we wouldn't be here. And you can come join us for all the stabs and the meluendos and the ab rocks and the, look at this recounts. Oh my God.
This is a really awkward day to be having that political.
Yeah, but I love
All right,
That
yeah,
is
I
true,
wasn't gonna
actually.
mention it, but let's just go. Thank you.
That was not on
Yeah.
purpose.
No,
We did not do that on purpose,
no,
but
that's
Not on
true. Yeah.
purpose.
but the sixth
Um,
joke was on purpose. I saw people
yes.
asking.
Yeah,
That was on
the-
purpose.
That was on purpose. Half-Man Dan is asking about the word eludes me now. Do they come in black? That's what he's asking.
The bracers.
Smell. The
My
bracers. There we
bracers,
go.
they
Yes.
actually do. Actually,
Oh,
they
there
come
we
in
go.
a variety of colors. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So hit her up on Twitter, and she'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
So that really is it from us this week, folks. We will see you next week. Bain&Chiad, One Shelly, Melindhra, and Roof Mistress Leigh-A. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all your time and all your efforts. And until next time, folks, may you always find water and shade.